You need to watch this if you crave chills down your spine. Welcome to Soul Studios. Here, true crime meets the unknown. Suspense lurks in every shadow, and supernatural forces whisper from the dark. We craft chilling, edge-of-your-seat short stories inspired by the eerie, the unexplained, and the most haunting mysteries. 3 new stories drop every week, each one darker than the last. Are you ready to step inside? Subscribe now before the next story finds you.
A wedding planner prides herself on creating perfect moments for others, but lately, something strange has been haunting her events. In the background of every joyous occasion, a blurred, faceless guest quietly appears, unnoticed by all except her. As subtle disturbances escalate, from flickering lights to missing rings, she begins to suspect this eerie presence isn't random. It feels personal, familiar, as if it's been watching her for a very long time. Determined to uncover the truth, she digs deeper into her past, revisiting memories she's kept buried for years. But what she finds will force her to confront a secret she hoped she could forget. If you love chilling stories with emotional depth, unsettling mysteries, and twists, subscribe now to Soul Studios, because sometimes the truth you're running from is waiting patiently in plain sight.
I fumble with the keys in the darkened reception hall, my heartbeat echoing as loudly as my footsteps on the polished wooden floor. It's past midnight and the last of the wedding guests have long gone, leaving me, the wedding planner, to lock up alone. The silence inside Rosewood Hall feels heavy and absolute. The overhead lights buzz and dim for a split second, casting dancing shadows across rows of empty chairs. I freeze, the hairs on my arms prickling. I can't shake the feeling that I'm not alone. I call out softly, "Hello, is anyone still here?" My voice comes out thin and uncertain, swallowed by the vast emptiness. No answer, only my own breathing and the faint electric hum in the walls. I let out a shaky exhale, trying to steady myself. Relax, I tell myself. It's just nerves. Yet as I turn toward the exit, I catch a glimpse of movement at the edge of my vision. A pale shape at the far end of the hall, near the stage where the newlyweds had their first dance. My heart lurches and I spin around, keys clenched in my fist. "Hello?" I call again, louder this time, my voice echoing off the vaulted ceiling. But there's nothing there, just rows of tables draped in white, the floral centerpieces gently wilting in the dark. The exit door creaks as I push it open, and I step out into the warm summer night. Outside, the air is cool against my skin and filled with the familiar chirp of crickets, a soothing contrast to my jangled nerves. I move under the amber glow of a street lamp to wait for my rideshare, digging out my phone for a distraction. As I scroll through the evening's photos, smiling faces, clinking glasses, all the moments of joy we captured, one image makes me pause. In the shot of the happy couple cutting their cake, there's an unfamiliar figure in the background. A lone guest stands a few paces behind the crowd, barely visible, face oddly blurred as if caught in motion. I frown and zoom in, trying to make out any features or recognize their outfit. Everyone else in the shot is someone I know should be there, but not this figure. They stand apart, half shrouded in shadow, easy to miss unless you're looking. A chill skitters through me despite the warm night. Probably just a camera glitch or someone wandering through the venue. I assure myself, locking the phone and shoving it into my bag. My rideshare pulls up, headlights cutting across the empty parking lot. As the car drives away, I catch sight of a lone silhouette at an upstairs window of the hall, watching me. I blink, and it's gone. With a hard shiver, I sink back into my seat. I keep my eyes on the venue until it disappears into the darkness. Something feels very wrong back there. The next morning, sunlight floods my apartment, but it fails to chase away the unease clinging to me. I sit at my kitchen table with a mug of coffee growing cold in my hands, my laptop open to the folder of last night's wedding photos. With a deep breath, I begin clicking through them, heart thudding faster at what I might find. There it is again, in picture after picture. Amidst the laughing guests and beautiful decor, I spot the same blurred figure lurking at the edges. In one shot, as the couple exchange rings under the arch of roses, a hazy shape stands among the distant trees behind the crowd, so faint it would be easy to overlook. In another, during the bouquet toss, a shadowy silhouette appears off to the side, near the frame's edge. Each time the figure's face is indistinct, as though the camera simply refused to capture it. No one else in the photo seems to notice. The guests are all focused on the couple, oblivious to the ghostly outlier in their midst. I lean back in my chair, a knot tightening in my stomach. Could the same person really have been at all these moments without anyone seeing them in real life? I'd checked the guest list, managed the seating chart. I would have known if there was an extra attendee. And what about those lights flickering when I was alone? A creeping thought whispers in my mind, this isn't a mistake. Someone is following me. My gaze drifts to a framed photo on the wall, a candid of me at my very first wedding job years ago. I'm adjusting a bride's veil, smiling proudly for the camera. I rarely look at this picture, it brings back too many conflicted emotions. The day went off without a hitch, but that night after the send-off, my own world collapsed. Swallowing hard, I turn back to the laptop and dare to open the archive from that first wedding. My pulse flickers as I scan the old images. Then, my breath catches. In a grainy shot of the newlyweds departing under a shower of rice at dusk, a faint figure stands in the background by the gate. The shape is blurry and distant, yet eerily similar to the one appearing in last night's photos. A chill spreads through my chest. How long has this been happening? Was that presence with me from the very beginning? I slam the laptop shut, heart hammering. My rational side grasps for an explanation. Any explanation. Maybe it's all just a weird coincidence, a trick of the light repeated over time, or some flaw in the camera hardware. But deep down, an unsettling certainty is taking hold. If it's the same figure appearing in different weddings, years apart, then whatever this is isn't just a glitch. It's connected to me. Suddenly, a burst of static hisses from my phone on the table, loud in the quiet kitchen. I flinch hard, nearly knocking over my coffee. The phone's screen is lit up, but instead of my lock screen or an incoming call, it shows a wash of grey and white static, like an old television with no signal. My hand trembles as I pick it up. "What in the world?" I whisper. The screen shouldn't be able to do this. A garbled, crackling noise comes from the speaker. Through the static, I think I can make out a faint voice. I bring the phone closer to my ear, every muscle tensed. The sound is distant, distorted, but unmistakably a single word being whispered on loop. "Mommy? Mommy!" I gasp and nearly drop the phone. Fumbling, I thumb the power button off and toss the device onto the table as if it burned me. The hissing stops. My apartment falls back into silence, but my ears are ringing. I stare at the phone in horror. That voice, tiny and warbling, sounded like a child, and it said "Mommy." My heart aches in a way I thought I'd forgotten how to feel. No one has ever called me Mommy. Hands shaking, I gingerly press the phone's power button again. The screen comes back on normally, my lock screen photo of a calm lake staring back at me. No static, no phantom call, nothing. A soft sob bubbles up in my throat, and I clamp a hand over my mouth. I feel suddenly profoundly afraid and also heartsick. "Who are you? What do you want from me?" I whisper to the empty room. There's no reply, of course, but I've a terrible dawning suspicion about the answer, and it's something I've avoided thinking about for years. In the days that follow, I sleep only in fitful snatches, haunted by uneasy dreams. By day, I pore over the internet, searching for any accounts of phantom wedding crashers or mysterious figures caught in photos. I find a few spooky anecdotes and an old article about a ghost appearing in a couple's wedding picture decades ago, but nothing that matches what I'm experiencing. It's as if this presence is singularly focused on me and the events I touch, and I can't escape the growing conviction of why. Some part of me always knew from the very first time I sensed something strange who it would turn out to be. I've just been too afraid to say it. 2 weeks later, despite the dread churning in my gut, I'm at another wedding I've organised. It's a beautiful October evening at a countryside estate, the kind of fairy tale venue brides dream about. I should be in my element, coordinating the caterers, directing the string quartet, making sure the candlelit barn looks magical. But today I'm just going through the motions. Underneath my professional demeanour, I'm on edge, hyper-aware of every shadow. I jump each time someone brushes past or a door closes too loudly. By nightfall, the reception is in full swing inside the property's big rustic barn. Normally I love this part, the lights, the music, the laughter. But tonight I keep scanning the corners, the rafters, anywhere an extra figure might lurk. When the band asks everyone to gather for the couple's first dance, a spike of anxiety drives through me. I slip toward the back of the barn where I can see everything. The newlyweds sway in the centre of the dance floor, haloed by warm string lights. Guests circle around, snapping photos, wiping happy tears. It's a perfect moment, and I can't stop holding my breath. A minute into the dance, without warning, the lights strung across the rafters flicker and then cut out, plunging the barn into an eerie semi-darkness. A collective gasp rises from the crowd. The music stumbles but doesn't stop, now just the tinny, unamplified sound of the band's instruments. In the dim glow of a few candles and emergency exit signs, I see confused faces turning this way and that. My heart slams against my ribs. Power outage? Or something else? Every instinct tells me it's not a coincidence. I yank a small flashlight from my belt and click it on, the beam cutting a cone of light through the dust motes. "Please stay calm," I call out, forcing authority into my voice. "We'll have the lights back in just a moment." I doubt anyone can hear me over the nervous chatter, but I have bigger concerns. My hands are shaking as I sweep the flashlight over the far edges of the barn. The white beam skitters across the DJ booth, the buffet table, the open barn doors leading out to the dark lawn, and then it lands on a figure standing utterly still in a distant corner. A petite form in a light-coloured dress stands just beyond the crowd, by an old wooden pillar. They are so still, so out of place amid the milling, startled guests that my breath catches. I squint, aiming the flashlight directly at them. The beam illuminates what looks like a little girl with dark hair, wearing a pale ivory dress that ends at the ankles. She's maybe 4 feet tall, her head is tilted down slightly, but I can tell she's looking right at me. I can't make out her face. The light seems to bend and blur around it, refusing to show me the details. But a jolt of recognition thrums through my body. I know this child. Even though it's impossible, even though I never saw her with my own eyes, I know who she is. My throat goes dry. "Hey, wait!" I call, my voice cracking. I shove past a couple of groomsmen blocking my way, nearly tripping over a chair. The figure turns with uncanny smoothness and slips out through the open barn doors into the night. I rush after, heart in my throat, the flashlight's beam jittering wildly over the ground. I burst out into the cool air under a crescent moon, scanning left and right. The lawn stretches out, edged by dark woods, and for a second I catch sight of the pale dress flickering behind a tree. I sprint toward it, adrenaline drowning out my fear. Stop! Rounding the oak tree, I pull up short. There's no one there, only silent rows of vineyards in the distance and the sigh of the night breeze. My chest heaves. I shine the flashlight desperately around in the darkness. Nothing but the rustle of leaves. Slowly, I lower the light, my pulse thrumming in my ears. She's gone, but I know what I saw, and I finally know who I saw. At some point, I realize I'm clutching a wooden pillar for support, my knuckles bone white. I force myself to pull it together and get through the rest of the reception somehow. I don't see the figure again, but I sense it lurking just out of sight the whole time. By the end of the night, I'm utterly drained. As the newlyweds depart under a sparkler send-off and guests straggle away, I manage to smile and clap in all the right places. But inside, I feel like I might break apart. Driving home alone down winding country roads, I replay the evening's events over and over. That small face turned toward me, the way my heart both leapt and cracked at the same time when I glimpsed her. Tears blur my vision and I blink them back, gripping the wheel tightly. There's no more denying or running away from this. I know who my unseen guest is, and I think a part of me has known for a long time. At home, I curl up on the sofa, still in my rumpled work clothes, and hug a pillow to my chest. I feel cold, drained, and very much haunted. Not just by the literal apparition, but by the memories rising in its wake. On the coffee table sits a leather-bound journal covered in dust, a relic of the darkest time in my life. With trembling fingers, I open it. It's full of letters I wrote to my unborn child after the accident, pages and pages of raw pain. On one tear-blotted page, I had written the name I'd picked for her, Grace. A keening sound rises in my throat as I clutch the book to my chest, my eyes stinging. Grace, the daughter I never got to meet, the little girl who died because of me. Sobs rack my body as 5 years' worth of guilt and grief pour out. I thought I had buried this pain, but it's clear now that it's been buried alive, festering under the surface of my life. I'm sorry, I whisper into the empty room between ragged breaths. I'm not sure if I'm talking to myself, to God, or to the tiny soul I never got to cradle. I'm so sorry. My mind drifts back to that fateful night. I was driving home late from my first wedding job, buzzing with pride and relief. I remember smiling, one hand on the wheel, the other reaching for my phone to check a message from the bride's mother. Headlights, a sudden curve I didn't see in time. Then the world flipping and crumpling around me, the crunch of metal, the pain, and later in the hospital the sterile smell of antiseptic and the doctor's face as he told me I'd lost the baby. I was 2 weeks away from my third trimester. They said it was a miracle I survived at all. A miracle. I never told anyone that the crash was my fault, that I was looking at my phone. I lied about seeing a deer on the road, and no one questioned it. In the eyes of the world, I was a victim who lost so much. Only I knew that it was my reckless mistake that shattered my own future. Now it all makes a heartbreaking kind of sense. The blurred figure is my daughter's spirit, drawn to the weddings I plan, the celebrations of love and family she was denied. She has been waiting for me to finally face what I did. I wipe my nose on my sleeve, still clutching the journal to my chest. If Grace has been with me all this time, appearing on the periphery of other people's happiness, what has she been thinking? Is she angry? Is she lonely? The thought is almost unbearable. A faint glow catches my eye, dawn light seeping through the curtains. I've been crying for hours. My heart feels tender and hollowed out, but also resolute. I know what I have to do. If Grace is truly here, I need to let her know how sorry I am. I need to beg her forgiveness, and maybe somehow forgive myself. I stand on unsteady legs and grab my car keys. There's one place I need to go, a place I haven't had the courage to return to until now. The place where our lives both changed forever. A misty grey dawn is breaking as I drive down the old country highway, the same route I travelled that night 5 years ago. The road is empty at this early hour, flanked by dense stands of pine and oak that crowd the sky. My hands grip the wheel so hard my knuckles ache. Every bend in the road sends a surge of memory through me. My stomach flips when I recognise the sharp curve up ahead, the one I didn't make in time. There, just beyond the turn, looms the old willow tree, its weeping branches arching over the roadside. My vision blurs with tears. I pull over onto the gravel shoulder and kill the engine. For a moment, I just sit, listening to the tick of the cooling car engine. My heart is pounding. I force myself to get out. The dawn air is damp and cool, carrying the earthy scent of dew and moss. Step by step, I approach the willow. The morning light is dim, but I can still see the faint scars in the bark where my car struck. A tremor runs through me as I reach out and lightly touch the grooves in the wood, tangible evidence of the horror that happened here. I remember being pulled from the wreckage, barely conscious, crying out that I was pregnant, begging for someone to save my baby. I squeeze my eyes shut. The memory alone is almost too much to bear. "I'm here," I whisper, laying my palm flat against the rough bark as if it were a headstone. My voice sounds very small. "Grace, Mommy's here." The only response is the distant twitter of morning birds and the gentle swish of the willow's leaves above. My chest constricts painfully. She might not come. I might have ruined even this chance by waiting too long. The thought spurs me on. I swallow the lump in my throat and continue, voice cracking. "I want you to know how sorry I am. I'm sorry I failed you. I'm sorry I never got to see you or hold you." Tears roll freely down my cheeks, but I keep speaking, pouring out everything that swells in my heart. It was my fault. I was careless and stupid, and I killed you. The word burns, but I don't shy away from it. Not a day has gone by that I haven't regretted it. I love you. I have always loved you, my sweet girl. And I hope, my voice breaks into a sob, I hope you can forgive me. I press my forehead against the tree trunk, closing my eyes. All my senses hone in on the raw ache inside me and the quiet around me. My tears drip onto the roots under my feet. Please, I whisper, please forgive me. A breeze picks up, rustling the willow's long tendrils. I open my eyes and step back, wiping my wet face with trembling fingers. The air feels charged, like the moment before a lightning strike. I turn, and there in the soft blue light of dawn, I see a small figure standing on the edge of the gravel shoulder, not 10 feet from me. I gasp, my hand flying to my mouth. It's her, Grace. This time, it's not a distant blur in a photo or a vanishing silhouette. She's right here. My knees nearly give out as I take her in. She looks solid and impossibly real, and yet there's a gentle, otherworldly glow about her. Grace appears about 5 years old, the age she would be now. Soft brown curls frame her round face. She's wearing that ivory dress I recognized earlier, the one I had bought all those years ago, hoping one day she'd wear it. My eyes well up at the sight. She gazes at me with eyes that seem huge and dark in the half-light. I can't discern their exact color, but I feel them on me. Her expression is curious, solemn. For all her eerie presence, I sense no malice in her, only a deep longing that mirrors my own. I choke back a cry and find myself sinking to my knees on the dewy grass, bringing myself closer to her height. My heart is pounding so hard it might burst. Grace, I whisper shakily. The name hangs in the cool air between us. The little girl blinks once, slowly. She steps forward, just a tiny step. I force myself to stay still, though every part of me wants to reach out and scoop her into my arms. I'm terrified any sudden move will scare her away, or break whatever fragile bridge between our worlds is allowing her to appear. Tears blur my vision as I drink in every detail. Her small hands clutching a threadbare stuffed rabbit by the ear. My breath catches. I recognize it as the toy I'd placed in the nursery, the one item I couldn't bear to throw away until I eventually donated it. Her scuffed black shoes, the little stain on the hem of her dress. I'm sorry, I manage to say, though it comes out as barely a breath. I am so sorry. My voice fails as a sob rises up. Grace's face remains blurry around the edges, but I think I see a softness come into her expression, a tiny tilt of her head like she's considering me. She releases the toy rabbit, letting it drop to the ground, and takes another step forward. Only a few feet separate us now. I can't help it. I reach out, my hand trembling in the air between us. As my fingers approach her, I feel a cool, tingling resistance in the air, as though she's really here in some form. A fractured laugh of astonishment escapes me, mingling with a sob. I can actually feel her presence. Grace looks at my outstretched hand, then back up at me. Then, ever so slowly, she reaches out too. Her small, translucent hand presses against my palm. It's light as a whisper and cold as mist, but I feel it, a delicate pressure. A soft shock of warmth blooms from that contact, spreading up my arm straight to my heart. It's like a blanket of comfort settling over me, one I haven't felt in 5 long years. A tear slides down my face as I smile through quivering lips. I don't know how, but in that moment I can feel what she wants to say to me. It's not words exactly, more an emotion that floods my mind, clear and bright. Forgiveness. A broken sound comes from my throat, half cry, half laugh. Relief and heartbreak collide inside me. I nod, closing my fingers as if to hold her tiny hand, though my hand passes through nothing but air now. Thank you, I whisper, voice trembling. Thank you, my sweet girl. I love you so much. Grace steps back. The first rays of the rising sun peek through the trees, and with them her form seems to lighten, growing fainter. Panic seizes me. No, not yet. I'm not ready to let her go, but some instinct stops me from reaching out again. This isn't a goodbye born of anger or unfinished business, it's a gentle departure. My daughter has given me what I needed, and maybe what she needed too. Now she can rest. And though losing her again hurts, I understand. I wipe my face, trying to memorize her silhouette against the dawn sky. Goodbye, I breathe softly. Goodbye, Grace. The little girl that was my daughter smiles then, just a small curve of her indistinct mouth. It's the first time I've seen even a hint of a smile from her, and it shines with a love and peace beyond her years. My heart swells. In a blink, Grace's figure thins into a sliver of light, and then as the sun clears the horizon in a burst of gold, she is gone. The only thing left is the stuffed rabbit lying in the grass at my feet, a tangible reminder that it wasn't a dream. I pick up the toy gently, dust clinging to its worn fur, and hold it to my chest. It smells of vanilla and sunshine. Tears roll down my cheeks, but they're different this time. They're not just tears of grief, they're tears of gratitude. At last I rise and walk back to my car, the sky paling with approaching dawn. I feel completely drained, but also cleansed. Settling into the driver's seat, I cradle the stuffed rabbit in my lap. In the soft light, I place the toy gently on the passenger seat, fastening the seatbelt over its tiny body as if it were real. The unseen guest that haunted me is gone. I sense only peace in the cool morning air. As I start the engine and pull back onto the road, the sun's first rays break over the horizon. Warm light floods the world, and I find myself smiling through lingering tears. I know I will carry Grace's memory with me always, and I will not hide from the truth anymore. Whatever consequences my confession brings, I'll face them with an open heart. In a way, her forgiveness has set us both free. A gentle breeze flows through the open window as I drive, and for an instant, I imagine I hear soft laughter, her laughter, mingling with the rustle of the wind. It's gone almost as soon as it comes, but I still whisper into the dawn, "Goodbye, my angel." The words are full of love, not pain. By the time I reach home, daylight is all around. I step out of the car and breathe in the new morning, feeling the warmth of the sun on my face. Whatever comes next, I'm ready. With Grace at peace, I finally feel that I am too. I finally understood that forgiveness isn't about erasing the past. It's about facing it head on. Grace had given me a chance to heal, releasing us both from years of silent grief. Forever changed by the unseen guest who'd waited patiently for my confession. Some guests aren't invited. They're summoned by the secrets we bury.
Every story has an end, but here, the mysteries never stop. Thank you for watching and being a part of this journey into the unknown. Your support keeps these stories alive, and there's plenty more waiting for you. We drop 3 new stories every week, so if you crave suspense, the unexplained and the downright chilling, make sure you're subscribed and ready for what's next. Until then, keep your lights on, your doors locked, and remember, some stories stay with you long after they're told.